I'll show you how I design and cut a layered vinyl sign with my silhouette using Dollar Tree items. Welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. I had a viewer friend ask if I could demonstrate how I design and cut my signs with Silhouette. She's a new Silhouette owner, so I thought I would do a quick tutorial to show my process. I'm not affiliated professionally with Silhouette in any way. Let's get into it. This is the surface I'll be creating the design for. It's a Dollar Tree bottle cap sign that measures 5.5 inches around, and I'm going to be using some Dollar Tree vinyl. We'll create a layered vinyl piece for the center. First, I'll open up my design studio. This is the free basic edition. It defaults to a 12 by 12 design layout, and we're going to create the background for our sign. The first thing I'm going to do is go over to my shapes panel over here on the left. I'll choose the ellipse, and while holding down the shift key, I'm going to left click and drag onto my design space. This will create my circle. On the top toolbar, there's a crosshair and a little rectangle. I'll click on that. That centers your item to page. Over on the right, I'll click on the little artist palette. This is the fill menu, and I'm going to choose white. This will fill in the circle on the screen, which makes it easier to see. It's not necessary to do this, but I will fill in each element in the color of the vinyl that I'm going to use, just for demonstration purposes. Right, so we have our circle, but I want to change it so that it measures to the 5.5 inches. So I'm going to go up to the top toolbar, to the width and height across the top bar here, and type in 5.5 in the height box. That will automatically adjust my circle to measure at 5.5 inches around. I'll move the circle from the design space off to the side, and now I'm going to choose the text tool from the left toolbar. It's the one that looks like the letter A. I'll click on that, move back into my design space, and I'm going to type some text. Ice cold. I'll highlight my text by using my arrow keys just to make sure that all the letters are included, and you can see they're kind of grayed out. Now I'm going to go over to fill, choose blue. There we go. And now I'm going to go up to my font drop-down menu, which is up here on the top toolbar. I'll click the wee arrow on the side and choose the font that I'll be using, which in this case is Cherry Cream Soda. And that changes the appearance of our text. I want to add a curve to the words ice cold so that they'll fit within the large 5.5 inch circle. To do that, I'm going to create another circle. Stay with me here by going back over to the shapes panel, choosing the circle, shift, click, and dragging to create the circle, and I'm going to size it to 4 inches. And once again, to do that, I'm going to go up top into the height box and type in 4. Right there, I just hit the center of the page. It's not necessary, but sometimes it helps. Right, okay, typing in 4. And you see it changed the size of my circle. Now this is a really cool feature, but it can be a wee bit tricky. So I'm going to come up to my text box. I'm going to double click with my pointer tool, which gives me this little box with the cross arrow here. I'm going to keep my cursor on that little arrow. You can see it's red. And we're going to drag the text down to meet the circle. Just make sure that your cursor stays on that arrow. That's how this works. So what we want to happen here is for the text to wrap around the circle. It can be a wee bit tricky, like I said, so I move slowly until it snaps around the circle. See? We can make any adjustments we need, and when it's centered, a little blue line will appear in this circle. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but that's what happens when your lettering is centered on the top of the circle. Okay, now I'm going to right click, which will bring up this drop-down menu, and I'll select Convert to Path. This will allow me to move my text away from the circle while maintaining the arch. We don't need that circle anymore, so we'll get rid of it. Now I'm going to move the background circle onto my design space and move the text into the circle so that I can make sure that it fits and make any adjustments. There, looks pretty good. Now I've moved all that off to the side, and I'm going to head back over to the text tool. I'm going to type the word drinks. I'll choose my font just like I did before. This time it's going to be Font Diner Loungy, and I'll fill it in blue. Oops, almost forgot the S. There we go. Now we'll pick our font. And we'll choose our color. Now I want this word to arch up like a smile. So I'll bring back the background circle. I want the word to sit in the circle right here. I'll double click on the word drinks, which will give me the little box with the crosshair arrow down here on the left. And with my pointer on that crosshair, I'll drag the word drinks up to the circle. And again, this can be a wee bit tricky. Just take your time. It's a wee bit temperamental, so don't get frustrated. Just keep going until you get it in there. Okay, now I'm going to use the slider to make this a little wider. So I'm just going to click on this button and drag it down. There you go. And now we need to convert to path. So we'll right click, choosing convert to path, and then we can move the word from the circle. I move my text up into the circle where I'd like it to sit. I'm going to stretch it out a wee bit. And I'm going to go to that little green dot you see at the top. That allows me to turn and rotate my text. So I'll make adjustments there. I'll bring back the ice cold, and we'll make any additional adjustments to the lettering. And that blue line pops up whenever I'm centered. I'll make a few more adjustments, stretching and whatnot. Let's tilt this a wee bit more. I'm happy with that, so now let's move on to the soda bottle. I'm just going to slide this off to the side. I've opened another tab that has my clip art of a soda bottle. I just grabbed this from Google Clip Art. This is just a ping file. And what I'm going to do is trace the shape of the bottle. To do that, I'm going to come over on the right hand side and choose my trace function, which is the wee butterfly icon. This opens up my trace panel. So I'm going to click select trace area, which is at the very top of the panel, and I'll draw a box around my clip art. It should turn your element yellow. As you can see, my soda bottle is now yellow. I'm going to come down to the trace properties, and I'm going to pick solid fill, and then I'm going to scroll down to trace outer edge, which is the second choice under trace style. I'll close that box. I'll click on the clip art and move it out of the way, and you can see it's left an outline of the bottle. I'll fill it in red and move it off to the side. Now I'm going to bring my clip art back onto my design space, and I'll choose the trace function once more. I'll select my trace area by drawing a box around it. Now I'm going to slide down and choose the first choice under trace style, which is just trace. This is going to trace all the details. And I do want to say that you don't have to do this on the gridded space. All the functions will work off to the side in the gray area too. This has traced all the details of the bottle, which will fill in blue. When we're layering the vinyl, this will fit over the red outline. Here, like this, I'll show you. So this is how it's going to look once it's layered. Now we're going to repeat that exact same process, the same trace, but this time we only want the label. So to grab the label, I'm going to head over to the left toolbar and choose Eraser. I'll erase the top part of the bottle. When I break the lines with the eraser, that will allow me to remove just the inner label, which I'm going to fill in with white. So I'm going to click on that and pull it up. Bring up my film menu, click white, and to get rid of this, I'll highlight it and hit backspace. We have all the layers of the bottle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to group them together by clicking and dragging over them and right-clicking, choosing copy from the drop-down menu. Now we'll go back to our project tab and hit Ctrl V to paste the bottle into our project. Now we're going to trace another clip art, this time cherries. So we'll click on that tab. We'll open up the trace panel, select our trace area, choose trace from the trace style, Move the original clip art out of the way, and then I'll fill it in red and copy it into the project tab. I'll assemble the bottle layers and group the layers by clicking the group icon on the top toolbar so that we can resize the whole thing to fit within our circle. Now we'll just move the label into place. I'll click and drag over the bottle and this selects all the layers. I'll hit the group button. Now this is one unit. We'll size it and we'll bring back our circle here and move the bottle up and size it to our liking. We'll grab the cherries and size them to fit on the label, which we actually could have done when we were layering and sizing the bottles, but you know, either way works. I think that's a pretty good size for that. Now I want to add some price buttons in that negative space. So I'm going to open up another tab that has a 10-cent clip art. I'll trace and copy the 10-cent clip art just like I did before, move it into the project tab, and size it. I'll create circles for the price buttons. The first one will be red. I'm going to move that up into the space where I want it to go just to make sure that it'll fit. Then we'll make a smaller white one which will pop into the center of the red one. First, we have to bring the white to the front by clicking the layer icon at the top, and then we'll group them. Then we'll add the 10 cents. We're going to have to bring that to the front too, and we'll group this whole thing as well. I'll right click on it, which will bring up my drop down menu, and I'm going to choose duplicate. This gives me an exact replica, which will now give me a price button for either side. See? We're going to need some quasar stars, so we'll open that clip art, trace it, fill it, copy it into our project, and size it. I only want one of these stars, so I'm going to erase the others. I'll make adjustments and add a few more by duplicating. Okay, this is my design completed. What I'll do now is highlight everything and duplicate that. Oops, we're going to need to send that circle to the back using the layer icon. I make a duplicate so that I have a reference for my layout, because we're going to deconstruct the other one so that we can cut out the elements according to color. I'll start with my white elements. I'll move everything that isn't white off to the side. Now I'm going to have to ungroup the price buttons so I can separate the layers by color, and then I'll move all my white elements onto my design space. I load the vinyl into my silhouette Cameo. Now I'll click send up here in the right hand corner. This opens the cut screen. Everything will be outlined in red that's going to be cut. I'll make sure that all of my settings are correct. My material is set for vinyl. We're set to auto cut, and my blade is auto blade. Blade depth is set at 2. You might have to adjust your settings as each machine has its own nuances. My force is 23, going to bump that up to 24, and my speed is 5. Machine is connected. I can click send and let the Cameo do its thing. Now we'll move all the red elements onto the design space. I'm going to create boxes around all of the elements before cutting. This makes it much easier to weed, at least it does for me, especially for the smaller pieces. Also, I always cut a few extras when the elements are small and or intricate, just in case something doesn't cut properly or have issues while weeding. I just grabbed a rectangle from the shape tools and draw boxes around each element. Simple. I'm going to duplicate the cherry so that I have a spare. And I'm going to make a couple extra 10-cent pieces too. I've already loaded the machine with red vinyl, so we'll click send. Make sure that all of our settings are where we want them, and we'll send it to cut. Now we're going to do all of the blue elements. Again, I'll create boxes around them and make extras of the intricate and small ones before cutting. Now that all my vinyl's cut, I'll place the vinyl onto my cutting mat while weeding. It keeps it in place. Sometimes the vinyl can be staticky, so this definitely helps. I'll peel up the vinyl starting at the corner and slowly peeling it away. This is where those boxes really come in handy. Look how easy that was. See here? I've already lost part of one of the 10 cents. That's why I always cut extras. The 10 cents and the cherries will be delicate work because they're so small. Sometimes I have to kind of Frankenstein the smaller pieces together. I'm going to have to cut a few more cherries because these didn't turn out. So just expect that might happen, especially with the Dollar Tree vinyl. On to the blue. These worked out much better, but I did lose the D in drinks, so I had to go back and cut another D and place it where it should go. I was really pleasantly surprised at how easy the vinyl came away from the bottle outline. So see, you just never know, right? Okay, so we just have to finish weeding our stars, and then we can start layering. I have here a piece of transfer tape. This tape has been used multiple times, which is going to make this process much easier. It's easier to remove the vinyl from the tape when it's been used and is less sticky. I'll place it over the blue details of the bottle and burnish it. There you can get a good look at it. Now I'm going to place it over the red bottle and I'll burnish it down into place. I'll gently lift the tape up. I want this to stay on the backer, so I'm just pulling the tape away from the vinyl. I'll grab the white label and pop that into place. I don't need transfer tape for this because it's one solid piece, so it's like a sticker. I will use the tape to add the cherries because they're small and detailed. You feel me? I'll add the white circles to the red right in the center to make the price buttons, and then we're going to add the 10 cents. I decided to pop a star on either side of the cherries on the bottle label. Even though the stars are small, I don't need transfer tape for these because they're a solid piece, so they're easy enough to add. Now we'll add our words to our background circle. We'll add the bottles, the price buttons, and the stars. That'll complete our design. Let's add it to the bottle cap. Hopefully, We can get this centered first try with a little luck. And now this is like a giant sticker, so no tape is necessary. Just going to try to line it up best we can, get it centered. That's not quite right, so we're going to lift it up and try again. And it looks like second time's the charm. There we go. That wasn't so bad, was it? Here's a closer look. The white background is a wee bit sheer. I'm okay with it. It is something to keep in mind though. A little paint or another white vinyl circle underneath would take care of that. Other than that, I think it's really good. I hope this helped anyone who maybe wasn't sure how to do something like this. I know there's a plethora of videos on this sort of thing, but perhaps this one covered something others missed. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll have my supplies in the description box. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.